Hi everybody, welcome to the Manifold channel. Today we're going to georeference a scanned paper map. And we're looking at Manifold System Release 9. All this works in the free Manifold Viewer as well, so you can try it at home for free. Let's import our image by clicking File, Import, and then here I'm going to import this image, Davy Crockett Forest.tiff. It's a 157 megabyte image. It imports that quickly. We can double click it open, and we can see what we have here is a scanned paper map. I downloaded this from the Library of Congress collection of scanned paper maps, so this is in the public domain. I'm going to shift click on the layer tab to undock that window, because I'm going to work with two windows at the same time. One of here is the source thing that I'm georeferencing, and here on the right I'm going to open up a window that's a map which shows Bing Street Maps. And let's create that map. File, create new map, and I'm going to create a map with a base layer Bing Street Maps, and here I'm going to change the coordinate system to latitude, longitude, in case I want to enter coordinates manually. Click Create Map. Now I'm going to double click that map open, and here I want to shift click that tab to undock that as well. And let's move this window into a position. Let's make these as big as we can make them, because we don't have a whole lot of room to work with here since we're working with a tiny little YouTube video display. And that Davy Crockett National Forest is near Houston, Texas. So let's right click and zoom into right click and drag to zoom in near Houston. If you take a look near Houston, there it is, Davy Crockett National Forest. And right about here is we want to be. We want to see the various items in the region. Okay, great. So let's start with how do we georeference this thing? This is just a plain image that has no geographic coordinates whatsoever. It's not in any coordinate system. This thing here, the map window, is in latitude and longitude because that's how we created it. So here what we're going to do is we're going to click here onto the cursor control and choose Edit Control Points. And now we can start marking control points in this forest, in this Davy Crockett National Forest window, and then we'll mark corresponding control points here in this window. Why are we doing this particular map? That's because there's a video making the rounds of a YouTube video making the rounds of GIS websites right now that shows how to georeference exactly this scanned paper map in ArcMap, and it's incredibly slow and clumsy and annoyingly difficult to do. So we're going to show you how easy it is in Manifold. Okay, off to the races. We now have, you can see that the cursor has changed into this Edit Control Points cursor. We can right click and drag to a zoom box, and I'm going to zoom down here into Crockett, and I'm going to zoom to the equivalent place here in the map, and right around here you can see where this particular junction appears in both of them. There it is right there. So here let's mark a control point there, and I just click on it to mark the control point there. There it is there. Now here in the map, let's set up the map to be a target. And the way I do that is I also choose Edit Control Points. And here I say as a source of control points, I'm going to work with Davy Crockett Forest. It's going to automatically pull control points that I mark from here so that when the focus is on this window, I can mark corresponding control points in that window. You can see we've marked one control point in Davy Crockett Forest. There it is in the list. So let's mark the analog here in the map that we're going to use as the target. And there you can see I made a plus sign and it darkened that to indicate that we've just marked that. Super. Let's use the back arrow to go back to the more or less the full screen view. And here likewise the back arrow. And now let's mark the second one in Davy Crockett Forest. And let's put that up here near the town of Alto. And let's mark this juncture right there in Alto. And I can also zoom in and out with the wheel mouse. So here we are in Alto. Let's find that same junction. And there it is right there. This is the forestry map is a kind of an imprecise deal, so we're going to go with an approximation. There's the second control point. Let's click on here. Notice that it automatically added the second control point to the list that we just added in Davy Crockett Forest. Let's put that approximately right there, which is about where it goes corresponding to that. Super. Now let's go back to the view. Here likewise, I'll click back into the main view. And where should we put the third control point? Let's put it right here, which looks like a good candidate where we can put it. And that's right here in this junction. I think it'd be a good spot. And the equivalent is right here. If we look at that kink in the road, the equivalent would be right here. That's where that road is. You can see where this kind of comes in like that, and the road comes in like that, and this is where that bend is. Okay, so here let's mark the control point. Notice how Manifold automatically configures as we move focus from the one to the other. There's that third control point we added. And here let's mark the corresponding location there in the target. We're only going to do a few more of these, so bear with me for a couple minutes. Let's see here. Let's do one here in this part, and this is near the town of Diboll. diable. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Apologies to anybody in the Houston region if I'm not pronouncing it right. Doing my best here. And let's see, where would that diable deal be? I think it's right here is the junction that we want. And so here, let's mark the control point there. And this is a slightly different zoom level. You can see how it's kind of closer if we take a look at it that way. And let's mark it, you know, in this window, there's the corresponding location for that fourth control point. Notice how the register pane automatically added that. And I'm going to do, I think, 2 more. So we can kind of bracket, do, you know, the whole thing surrounding it. And let's see, right down here at this junction, this looks like a great candidate. That'll probably show up in both places. And that's in the town of Corrigan. Let's zoom in here. Right-click to zoom. Yeah, let's just put that. Let's put that right here at the main intersection. So click on that window. Click there for the control point 5. Click here for the control point 5. Notice how Manifold is automatically naming the control points for us. If we like, we can change those to different names. But you know, why not just let Manifold do the work for you? To automatically name those for you. So I just usually leave them the way they are. Okay, and the last one, let's put down here in this town right there, which is the town of Groveton, and let's see if we can find an intersection that kind of looks about the same in both of them. And I'm guessing that right here is the intersection. Whoops, that's zoomed in a little too far, where this kind of Kingston comes in. So let's find it right there. And this is what we're talking at. This is what we're looking for right there, that intersection right there. So let's put the control point there. And here we put the control point in the corresponding location there. And there, we've just added 6 control points. Let's see how all this is going to work out. Now that we have all the control points, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them here. Let's try some previews, and let's see how the previews work out. With the focus on the map window, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the thin plate spline method, and I'm going to use forward average rendering. I'm only going to do 1 pixel divisions. If I choose more than 1 pixel division, it actually will split up the pixels here. But with 157 million pixels, that's already pretty accurate. So let's see how fast it'll go. If we like, Manifold will do a preview for us. So let's do a preview and see how it will georegister the Davy Crockett Forest map. And the preview won't take long. We're working with a Ryzen 9 machine here, and there's the preview. It's done. If I want, I can partially, let's see, I can make that 50% opacity, and you can see it overlays fairly well here in terms of how the roads all come together. So let's go ahead and tell Manifold, go ahead and register it. To do that, I click the register button, and it'll use the same control points to georegister the image. And there, and what it does is it creates this thing called Davy Crockett Forest 2. Let's dock these so we can now work with larger scale images. And I'm going to drag and drop this Davy Crockett Forest 2 drawing into the map. And I'm going to style that so it uses RGB. The TIFF image that I used is actually a BGR image, and so it uses that by default. And there we go. We've just georeferenced this so that it's perfectly aligned. We can see that it's perfectly aligned by in the layers pane changing the transparency of the Davy Crockett Forest tube layer that we just added to 50%. And now we can kind of pan and zoom and see how close we get to that. And you can see that it aligns quite well. Like you see how this road comes down through Alto. You can see how these roads here, come in. And you can see how well these, the various roads match the different roads in Bing. So, for example, look at this major road right here, the one with the alternating black and white. I'll turn it on. There's the layer off. There's the layer on. And you can see that's spot on. It's so close you almost can't tell that where the transparency is because it actually lays on top of one another. And you can see how close the borders are here. The Forest Service map actually uses fairly thicker borders because the Forest Service map is drawing the borders as the the various waterways. I'm going to right-click and drag to zoom in further, so you can see how it's it's panning. It doesn't quite match Bing, but that's those are just simple differences in the cartography between Bing and the Forest Service map. What we've done is in just 5 minutes of actually adding control points, we've georeferenced this map, and it's a pretty darn perfect georeferencing. If we want, we can export that. So, for example, I can right-click and choose Export, and export it to just about anything we want, bill files, whatever we want. Let's export it to TIFF files. And Davy Crockett Forest 2, click Export. And now it'll export it. And what Manifold will do, it'll automatically export it as a GeoTIFF. So it automatically put those tags in there. And the coordinate system that we've used here, since it was matched to the coordinate system of the map, if you look at the info pane, it's using latitude and longitude projection. That's WGS84. If we want, we can change it to whatever other projection we want, reproject it. But right now, it's just using latitude and longitude, which is, not a bad default projection if you're sharing data for interoperability. If you exclude all the talk that we did to explain how all this different things work, we did this entire georegistration start to finish, including importing the data and all the rest of it, in about 5 minutes. So you'll find that it's a lot easier to do. Go take a look at that video that shows how it is in ArcMap, and it's kind of like a Rube Goldberg deal in ArcMap. It's just it's way more tedious and a lot not anywhere as easy as this. And frankly, it's a lot harder in QGIS also. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Tell your friends about Manifold. It's by far the best way to georeference whatever you want, whether it's vectors or rasters. You can try all this out in the free view or download it and give it a shot. Thanks for watching, and goodbye from Manifold Land. Well, that was fun. If you want to see more, visit us at www.manifold.net. As always, Manifold delivers the world's most advanced, highest quality spatial products for GIS and DBMS at a low price that you can afford. Once again, that's manifold.net. See you soon.